Hey, it's Cordelia, the Creative Educator. I hope you're very, very well. So today I've jumped online because we're going to talk a little bit about cognitive development in relation to education. So we're going to be asking those questions, why it's important to creatively educate our children from a young age and the impact and difference it has upon their education and their cognitive development in the long run. And we were just going to delve into a few questions such as what is cognitive development, what is creative learning, and what is creative education, and how you as a parent can support your child. So I am a massive advocate of creative and transformative learning and teaching. So I started my journey as a primary school teacher, dipped into art and design as a secondary school teacher, and I've worked for loads and loads and loads of different kinds of schools. I own a tuition centre that creatively educates, and I also write creatively educative workbooks as well. But today we're not going to touch on that. We're simply going to answer those questions which I've mentioned already. So we're going to think about how creativity can elevate a child's education experience. Now, I'm sure you know some people, you may have looked online and saw all these fantastic creative activities for children. Now, it might just be learning, it might just simply be for play or for art's sake. But did you know that creative learning and creative education can actually elevate a child's learning experience? You see, it opens certain areas of the brain which simply teaching maths and English from a book does not. It allows our children to engage in different ways, and it also supports them to use their minds and to use their imagination, developing that critical thinking and helping them to really and truly deeply understand the concepts that they are studying. Now, I've taught in many classrooms for many years, and one thing that I wished I could do more of was to support those children who didn't quite get it straight away. See, in the classroom, they are the children that get it straight away, and there are sometimes children who are super creative learners. And unfortunately, these types of children, a lot of the time, they are sort of put down because they don't get it straight away, or they take a longer period of time to understand certain concepts. Now, if you cover things creatively with them, usually it helps them to use their imagination and to see things outside of the box, and it helps them to understand and delve a little bit better or deeper into certain concepts. So it clicks, but also it helps them to memorize things easier as well. You see, that's what teaching and learning is all about. It's all about finding what works for each individual child. In the classroom, a lot of the time we teach in one way and expect the whole class to understand how we're teaching. And unfortunately, there's not the time or the room or the resources to go back and support those children that need that concept from possibly a different angle, or maybe need to use their hands, or maybe you need to use their body to actually help them to understand concepts. So what we're doing is we are supporting and empowering parents to actually support their children from home, because in a classroom, a teacher or indeed a tutor can only do so much with the resources that they have. We at Splash Tuition are actually building a tribe of phenomenal parents that are helping their children from home. We're going to give you the tools, the resources, the guidance and the help to support your child from home, so you don't have to really think about what to do, how to do it, what to say, when to say it. We're going to support you to do that. So make sure that you do follow and click a like on this video if it's actually supporting you to actually understand the importance of cognitive development. Now, there are a few tips and a few ways which you at home, I'm going to drop, there are a few tips and a few ways which you can help your child right now today. And it doesn't take forever. You don't need to go out and buy resources. You can simply use what you have in the home, and through verbal teaching as well, you can actually support your child to expand their knowledge and information. Now, you might be thinking, well, they're already doing great in maths, they're already doing great in English. Stop there. Learning and teaching is not simply about maths, English, science, or the core subjects. It's all about supporting our children to develop lifelong skills, to improve resilience, to enjoy learning through trial and error, and as we said, to support their cognitive growth. Now, cognitive growth is all about certain areas of the mind, or certain areas of the brain, if you will. It's helping them to develop areas of the brain which they may not have before. You see, when you open a book, you're only thinking in one linear way. But when you're thinking creatively, when you're moving things around, when you're moving your body, you're developing this sense of, maybe if I put this with this, maybe if I try that, would this work? Maybe if I did this as well. So that's really supporting our children to think, to analyse and to learn all at the same time, leading to deeper understanding of not just the maths, the science and English, but also where they are in this world today. Now, we already know that the world is changing drastically. Many of the jobs that our children are actually hoping to get in the future because of the advance of technology is so quick now. Unfortunately, a lot of those jobs and careers will no longer be there. So what we are focusing on is supporting them or is supporting their cognitive development, we're helping them to open certain areas of their mind which they may not have done before. Now, how can we do this? Number one, learning through play. It's a fantastic way to open up their mind and, as I've already said, help support their cognitive development in loads and loads of ways. So, for example, instead of just doing the times tables, maybe you want to get some beans, some dried pasta out, start making arrays on the table or even on the floor. This just helps them to not only understand their times tables and how that works, but also gets them to maybe relate it to subtraction and addition because they've thought about it and they can see it visually as well. It's all learning through play, but it really does help. Multisensory, so not just giving them a pen, a pencil, or a whiteboard as they would usually have in school, but maybe getting the paints out, the chalks on the floor. I've done activities whereby children are going outside and they're picking up dry leaves from the floor and they're cutting them and looking at doubling, maybe painting leaves and looking at rotation. So there's loads and loads of things that we can do to support our children without having to go out and buy loads of resources, loads of games. You can do this from home and it's easy, simple and super effective for the long run. Storytelling. Now, children love a good story. How about fusing this into their learning? So instead of simply thinking about, let's say, if you're looking at full stops and capital letters, we'll get them to tell a story first. Where did you go yesterday? How did you get there? Can we write just a simple line, maybe a paragraph for the older children? Where would you put a full stop? Where are you taking a breath? Tell the story verbally first. This really improves their imagination, gets them thinking creatively, and also relates it to real life occurrences as well, which again leads to deeper learning. Questions over answers. Now, we have been taught to consistently question the child. What's 5 times 5? What's a paragraph? What's parenthesis? Tell me what it is. But what happens when we switch the gears and we ask them to ask the questions? So, for example, giving them, I don't know, an equation. It could be a very simple equation. And they ask us how it works. Giving them a piece of text. Underline things that you don't quite understand. You then ask me, and it doesn't have to take long. As I said, this is simply empowering parents so we can support our children from home as well. You see, schools can't do it all. With 6 hours a day, you would think that that's loads of time. I've been in these situations before. Believe me, 1 hour of maths, 1 hour of English, 1 hour of science, 30 up to 35 children. There isn't enough time to think creatively and engage every single child. Let's empower our parents so you can support them as well. Now, let's think about exploring. When you go outside, thinking about the height of the trees. I've asked my child this once and it just completely blew up into this amazing conversation which went on for ages. I said to him, how would you measure that tree? What would you use? Now, he initially thought he could use a ruler, and we talked about the fact that a ruler just isn't big enough to measure a tree. Then we started thinking about a tape measure. Maybe we could use that. Then we started thinking how we would measure. What kind of language would we use to measure the tree? Or what kind of language do we use to determine height as well? And this was simply just on a walk in the park. Do you see how you can open certain areas of the mind and really engage your child just by simply being empowered to support them? It doesn't take loads, it just takes a simple idea and for parents to implement it effectively. At the end of the day, you know your child much better than anyone else in the world. So we think about learning through play, being multisensory, using chalks, dried pasta, anything that is a tangible thing for them to use, paints, anything like that, getting the arts and crafts out, storytelling, questions and answers. And let's think far beyond academics. Let's think far beyond the maths and the science. Let's think far beyond that and support them to not only engage them and support them in these subjects, but also to use their minds to analyse the world that they live within. Simple questions like, how many houses do you think are on this road? What makes you think that there's that many houses? Well, how many windows would that make if every house had 4 windows? You see, a simple question can really engage every single child, and it leads to deeper learning and deeper understanding as well. And most important, it relates to real life experiences. At the end of the day, if I know that you're going to give something to me which is beneficial right here, today, in this world, I'll probably learn it better. So let's relate learning to real life experiences as well. to build up resilience and support them to want to learn and not shy away from trial and error as well. Because at the end of the day, what is the world all about? It's being a problem solver. It's learning through trial and error. It's thinking inside and outside of the box. How can we effectively solve this problem? Are we going to shy away from a challenge that's come up in our lives? And this is what cognitive development is all about, but we can support them through creative learning. So parents, I would love you to join our growing group of SPLAT educators. You see, we are simply parents. Some of us are homeschoolers, some of us send our children to school full time, but we are a growing group of parents that want to support our children, not just in the maths, the science and English. Yes, of course, we want them to do great, but we are more involved in their cognitive development, supporting them to learn creatively, empowering them and giving them those lifelong skills. Now, we at SPLAT Education are here to support you. So what I would love you to do is simply to like, to like or simply share this video with others that you know have the time and are interested in supporting their children's cognitive development as well. At the end of the day, life is not all about math, science and English, but it truly is about those children who think creatively, who are resilient, who do not shy away from challenges, which indeed will come up in life. So SPLAT educators, join us for more. I hope that's been helpful. And if you have any questions, please do pop them below and I'll be more than willing to answer them. Take care and I'll see you on the next one.